everyone, and welcome back to Stampin Squirrels, and thank you for joining me today. Today I'm really excited to show you two great cards, but I'm going to demonstrate one, and that's this big Kite Fold card. So this is an unusual fold. It looks like a card, put a little tail on it, and it opens up like this. So it's got this great unique little fold here, great tail on the end. And I thought this was really unusual, so I'm going to show you how to make this one. I've made this one in kind of masculine colours, but the ones we're going to do today are going to be in green. And then we've got this one here, where I've made a smaller version. And what we're going to do with this one is I've just stuck it onto the front of a card base like this. So actually you can open it up and there is a card underneath. But I'm going to make the big one today. So I'm going to show you how to measure it out, and I'm going to show you how to put it all together, and then obviously how you decorate it is entirely up to you. And I've fastened this one with two small magnets. I don't know if I can show you that. There's one here and there's one just here. And they clip together really nicely, and it just keeps it nice and shut and secure. So let me show you how I put these together. So this one needs a couple of bits of cardstock. It's not actually that onerous in terms of the amount of cardstock you need or the dimensions and things, but you need 2 pieces of cardstock for the base of your card. So I've used soft sea foam for the card I'm going to make, and you need 2 pieces, one which measures 5 by 7 inches and one which measures 5 by 7.5 inches. And then you need 2 pieces of white card for the inside, and they measure 4.5 by 6.5, and you probably saw that I've got a little diagram on the back, and I'm going to be showing you that in a minute. And then to make these bits here on the front, the mats and layers, these 2 longer bits and then the 2 shorter bits at the top, you need 1 piece of corresponding cardstock. This one is Pear Pizzazz. This is 2.25 by 4.5. And then you need a piece of DSP, which is 2 inches by 4 inches. And what I'd say about this is that if you want these 2 parts to be contrasting, then you only need to cut 1 piece, because you can use the corresponding contrasting piece of DSP on the back. If you want them to match, then you need to cut 2 pieces at 2 inches by 4 inches. And then the same goes for the top. You need 1 piece which is 2.25 by 1 7/8 of an inch. And then 1 piece at 2 inches by 1.5 inches. If you don't mind these bits at the top contrasting, if you want them the same, then you need 2 pieces at 2 inches by 1.5 inches. And then you just need some scrap just for your greeting and sentiment later on. Okay, so let's start with the card base. Because these are 2 separate pieces of card, in total they'll measure 14 inches across, and of course you can't get Stampin' Up cardstock at 14 inches. So you cut these 2 pieces. One is 7.5 and it's been scored at 1/2 inch. And then what you're going to do is you're going to I put tear and tape on mine and put them together. So you've got one big card base. And this is what you end up with. So you end up with a card base that is 7 by 5. And what I've done inside is that I've drawn the diagram on how you're going to cut and score. So you may want to freeze frame, or you might want to take a photo of this, because it's a useful template to have for later on. But essentially you have your fold in the centre, and what you need to do is you need to take a ruler, or you can use your scoreboard. It's entirely up to you what you feel more comfortable with. I've used both. But essentially on this side you need to make a mark at 2.5 inches. And then from the outside in, make a mark at 5 inches on both sides. And then on your fold line, another mark at 2.5 inches. And then you do exactly the same for the opposite side. So 2.5 inches in from the end, and then down to 5 inches and down to 5 inches. And then what you find is that you should be able to put your ruler on those marks, and it should go exactly across that way, exactly across that way as well. Okay, now you're going to cut some of this off, but you're going to score some. So I'm going to take my trimmer, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to score using the trimmer rather than just use a bone folder or something to score. What you need to do is need to line this line up here, look, into your score line, which shouldn't be too difficult to do. These are going to form the basis of your fold for the kite at the top. And I'm going to turn that around and then I'm going to score the other line. Okay, it's already scored in the middle for your fold. And then what you're going to do is you can line this up and you can cut it with your trimmer. I actually found it easier to just cut it with my large scissors. So you don't have to draw the lines, but I thought it would be easier to show you with the lines. At this stage, don't worry. Can you see that they don't quite match up? Don't worry about this, because when we bone fold them and we make sure all of the creases, you can realign your card. So it's not critical at this stage, it doesn't match up exactly. So here we've got the card base, and I'm just going to find my very scruffy bone folder. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to realign this card so that it sits perfectly. So I'm going to match up the corners like that, and then I'm going to take my bone folder and just push it back like that. And then what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just realign this so that it's actually perfect. This is quite important, because when you start to put down the mats and layers, if your card isn't square, you're going to find yourself you've got a problem. Okay, so there's my card base. Now, as you remember, I've got these folds in the centre. So now I'm going to fold those. And because this needs to be quite flexible, I'm going to turn it round the other way. And then what you can see is you can tuck these in now, like this, because you've scored it. Tuck them in. Now before you actually score down your bone folds again, realign it so that it's nice and even. It will move, so you have to keep quite a strong grip of this side. I can't keep it. Stay in position, you little roar. That's it. And then when you've got it in position, you can then push down with your bone folder. That's it. There. And then just reinforce all of those score lines when you're happy that it's even. Okay? And there you've got your basis of the card. So with the mats and layers, as I already said, if you don't mind this part of your card having contrasting DSP, when you cut this, you will have one which is this side and one which is this side opposite, and that's what I'm going to do today. And this means that you only need to cut a small piece of DSP, and the same for the top bit. If you wanted both of these sides to match like I've done, then you would need to cut two of these, and you'd need to cut two of these. But today I'm going to use contrasting sides, and of course I'm using Garden Lane series paper again because it's retiring and I'm absolutely infatuated with it at the moment. Green's my favourite colour, as you know. And this is a really simple little cut. So bring back your trimmer, you're going to use the cut blade this time. So taking your piece of cardstock, you simply from corner to corner, line it up on your trimmer, making sure it's absolutely all the points, the corners are in exactly the right position, corner to corner, and then you just cut through. And then you've got your two pieces, as you'll see in a minute, there. Do the same for the bottom little mat. And then do exactly the same for the DSP. So once you've done that, what you'll find is that you will end up with two pieces of cardstock, and this is the shape that you will need to put them into. So those two go like that, and then I just need to work this out in my head. These two go like this, and then what you're going to do is you'll be sticking your DSP layer mat onto that, and that one will go like that. Actually, I might flip that over because it's the right way up. It's one thing to think about if you've got a pattern and it's got a direction. You just need to think about the pattern direction when you're cutting this of your DSP. So that's going to go like that. Then I'm going to put this one opposite, like so. Oh look, and you can see that one is the wrong direction. So I am going to have to flip those over so they match. just something to think about, like that. So I'm going to stick those down and then I'm going to come back. Okay, so I've got all of my layers done. That's that. Bring back my cardstock, like so. Now I can either stick those down now, or I can actually show you how to put the white card inside, because you're going to have to cut that to the kite shape as well. So why don't we do that first? So as I said, I've given you the dimensions for the white card. Essentially what we're going to end up is a piece of card that looks like this, and this will then just stick straight into your card like that. But the dimensions are here, so again, if you wanted to, you can just take a quick camera shot of this dimension. So you've got your cardstock here. I'll just remind you of the dimensions. It's 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches, and you need 2 pieces if you want top and bottom. If you only want a piece of white card on the bottom, then just cut one. And then you're going to, on the 4.5 inch side, you're going to come in 2.25 inches and make a mark. Same at the top, and then from the top down, mark at 2 inches and 2 inches, and then you simply are going to draw a line or cut with your trimmer, whichever you prefer, all the way around. And then you've got your 2 pieces of white card, which I'm going to pop into the inside of this card. Now some people may prefer at this stage to actually stick down the tail now, because you might want it to hide it under this piece of card at the bottom. I didn't. I chose to just stick it down. I chose to stick it down on the top, and then I covered it over really with a little magnet. I think it's fine at the top. So I'm not going to do my tail at this stage. I'm going to stick my mats and layers down now. So these are going to go on like this. All right, so that's the front of the card. It's looking really great. I love this card. It's super cute. I really like the idea of a kite. And then it opens like that. So I want to decorate this now. And I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to decorate it with a stamp set, which is retiring sadly in June. This stamp set's Above the Clouds, and I just thought that some of the sentiments were probably appropriate for a kite, and I'm going to use Let Your Dreams Soar. So I'm just going to go away now, and I'm just going to stamp that on a piece of scrap white, and I'm using Pear Pizzazz as the colour. It's a great font as well, this particular stamp set. It's such a shame it's going. And I'm going to go away and I'm going to cut this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out with the So Sentimental dies. I'm turning this on its side, and I'm going to cut this way, like this. And then I'm going to cut this one out of a piece of soft seafoam. So I'll come back to you once I've done that. So I've cut those out now, and this is what I have. And I'm going to just place this one on here with some dimensionals and just pop that up. I don't want to cover up the kind of the cross in the centre of the kite, because I think that kind of defeats the object. So I'm just going to move mine down a bit so that you can quite clearly see it's got that kind of kite feature. And I'm just going to pop these up again. Okay, so we're getting there. So that's nearly finished now. That's the kite. So what we need to do, if you bring back our other one, is we need to make this great tail, and this was really simply made. Alright, so what I've done is I've just taken some remnants of ribbon really. I mean, I've got an abundance of green ribbon because as you know, green's my favourite colour, so I've always got a lot of green things going on. But I've just taken some, just a little piece of thick baker's twine in white in this things, and then I've got just 3 sort of scraps of ribbon, because you're just going to tie these into tiny little knots along the piece of baker's twine and then stick it down. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that off as the tail. That's the end. The great thing is, even if you tie those little knots as tight as you possibly can, you can still shimmy them up and down this little piece of baker's twine. So if they're not close enough, you can just move them up and down. Make sure you've got some good gaps between them. Bring back your card. Now you want this to hang from the top like this. So I'm going to open this up, and what I did was I stuck this down with wet glue. So once you've stuck the tail down, that's the card finished really. You can decorate it, so what I would do is I would add a few sequins or diamantes to it. In this case, because obviously it's green, I've got a few green sequins, and I'm probably just going to add a few of these using wet glue just to the card. Like that. So that's the card. All that's left really is for me to place a couple of magnets. So if you remember on this one, I've fastened this. Once the tail had dried, I put a magnet just on the end here with wet glue, and then once that had dried, I put a marker pen mark there, and I closed the card, and the marker pen transferred onto the other side of the card, and then I was able to determine where I should stick the magnet for best closure, and that's just stuck that down nicely. So when this is stuck down, I'll put a couple of magnets on mine as well. But that's the card essentially. This is the Kite Fold card. I hope you've really enjoyed it, and if you enjoy it, come back to Stampin' Squirrels again, where we post lots of videos regularly on our channel, on our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching everybody, and come back soon. Bye bye.